Hey everybody, this is my book review. Um, so one of the aspects of the book that really stood out to me was the unconscious deals. Me and my husband both went into the relationship attracted to a lot of these shadows. And I had an okay understanding, or I could see behaviors from his parents and my parents that kind of connected us. One of them was I had this attitude of like, I will take care of the house and try to do all of it to help myself feel worthy. And then after a while, it kind of turned into me feeling superior, like I'm doing everything, you're not doing enough, and I would just grow this resentment. And the only conversations that we would have is these arguments of I need you to do more. And something that he would always say was, well, this is just how I am. This is how you met me. And whenever I really thought about it, this is something that I learned from my mother. And his behavior was something that he got from his grandmother. So I took on the role of his grandmother, and he would take on the role of like my father and my mom nagging all the time. And yeah, this went on for probably about 4 years until I really started to take a look at myself and get a better understanding of my part. There in the beginning, I was just thinking, okay, well, I'm just doing everything. I don't really have much of a part to play in this. But whenever I started to really dig deep and look, I realized, I'm like, I'm enabling him. I keep trying to do everything. I had this belief system that was wrong, that wasn't accurate. If I would just genuinely ask him, be like, hey, this is too much, I'm falling apart, he would always pick up the slack. But whenever I was able to really integrate my, like taking on that 100% of my responsibility, and we talked about it, sincerely talked about it. I told him that I am hyper independent. I try to do more than my share to help myself to feel worthy and to, I call it my princess hat. I would just act like the princess, that I had no flaws, and I talked to him about like how I feel like I took on the role of his grandmother, and the conversation was just, it was excellent. He was able to really see my part, and I was able to really tell him the microscopic truth and tell him how I was, what part I was playing in all this. And after that conversation, everything shifted. He started helping out more. Granted, you know, it doesn't have to be up to my expectations, you know. He helps out and he does what he knows how to do. But one of the more challenging aspects of reading the book, something that just really got me to think, was the agreement to mess up. I've said for most of my life that I'm very forgetful, that I can be inconsiderate. It's just the way that I am. But after reading that, I started thinking about, like, is that just a trait that I learned, a way to cope, a way to not handle situations, a way to avoid certain situations? And sometimes, yeah, I do know that I will forget to have conversations about something because they're uncomfortable. So that was very eye-opening. And some more, let's see. Some more of the patterns that I notice we struggle with is an issue with intimacy, physical touch. I'm very much a touchy, feely person. I like to snuggle. Philip, on the other hand, has a difficult time with this. It is a little bit too intimate for him. He doesn't mind touch, but after, I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes of touching, then it turns into like playful touching, like poking or scratching, or turns it into playfulness. And I also do the same thing whenever it becomes too much. It doesn't turn into like an argument or anything like that. It turns into like a game. But even though it seems fun and lighthearted, it's just another way to avoid intimacy with one another. And I mean, sometimes it does get out of hand. Like maybe one person will start annoying the other person just a bit too much. And we don't have that level of intimacy where we can just hold one another, or sit in one another's presence, you know, looking at each other in each other's eyes. We can talk to each other easily, but after a while it gets to that point of uncomfortable, and then one of us has to find a way to disconnect that, and it's usually through physical play or irritating one another. And I think the book really helped with, like, I think I can bring this into sessions through like figuring out physical symptoms. Maybe somebody has an upset stomach, or their heart's racing. Just figuring out like what that means. There was a section where it had like emotions and the characteristics of those emotions, and a lot of them had to do with like symptoms of the body, and helping my clients to really dive into that and figure out, okay, what is it about this sensation that is uncomfortable, or really looking into it, like where did it come from, what memories pop up when sitting in that emotion, is there resistance with noticing that emotion, stuff like that. But yeah, overall, the book was great, and I think I'm gonna start trying to implement it with my family and even my son, and see how it goes. So thank you.